Yeah, look at that. I ran into my first issue. But some of these came out really, really nice. Well, alrighty. Welcome back to the chop shop, everyone. Today, we are going to be doing some practice with the Richardson Ranch high-speed sander and the bull wheel. Since the weather is pretty decent, not too hot, not too cold, got a whole bin of rocks down below there, have been sliced and they're ready for a face polish. Follow along as we get this thing set up. And here's what the setup looks like. We got our sander here. And then since this is a dry sander, it's gonna kick up a ton of dust. You don't wanna breathe it in. That's why we're not using it inside the shop. And then on top of that, we have a vacuum with the exhaust pointed away from me. We got a small little tub of water here. As we're working the stones, they're gonna heat up really fast. And we wanna be able to dip them in the water and start cooling them off. You don't wanna overheat your stones because they'll start to fracture. Let me show you a couple examples here. I used a 60 grit sanding disc. I probably overheated this stone too much because you could see these like bubble formations under the surface, and I think that's like heat stress. Probably went a little too aggressive and it started marring up the surface here, gouging out. This is actually like a dimpled divot. This Thunderegg, you can see, same thing. I probably overheated it. We'll play around again today. We'll have to keep doing some experiments, and yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, well, I ran into my first issue. And the issue being is, after the slab saw, you got that little raised tail end on a couple pieces. Now I could use the sanding disc to take it down, but that might take a little while and that actually might wear down the disc quite a bit. So what I'm gonna do is actually bring these pieces over to my Genie wheels. I'm just gonna hit it with the grinding wheel just to get that edge off, and then yeah, we'll head back outside. So I ran into my second lesson. When I was telling you guys that I took off those little edges, what I noticed after I did so was that the edge of the wheel ended up hitting the stone and caused some extremely deep gouges. For example, with this one here, right in that top left corner, you can see those deep gouges because I took off the little edge here. I'm having to repeatedly hit the stone with a 60 grit disc in order to try and get those, you know, gouge marks out. And there's a couple pieces, one on this and then one on this. But all in all, these pieces are, I think, all ready to go on to the next step. Still working on getting that out, which I don't know if I'll be able to, but other than that, that piece looks good. And then on this big one here, it's kind of hard to see it because it's a little wet, but there's a saw mark. You got that line running up and down. So yeah, just got to finish up these 3, 4, 5 to my liking, and then we'll be able to swap the disc and go on to the next step. All done with the 60 grit. Got as much of the saw marks out as I could. So now we're gonna swap from the 60 grit. That's 220 grit. Still have respect for the machine. I went ahead and unplugged it before I did this, and then I tried to turn it on just to verify it won't just kick on. Because yeah, I don't want to be holding this while the machine is running. Just got a little collar thing. It goes in the center of the pad like so. mounts onto this with our little tool. Go ahead and tighten it down. Alrighty, next step, we're going to 400 grit. Just got the 220 all done. Alrighty, just got done with the 400 grit. Yes, so this is a fresh new, well, was a fresh new sanding disc, because when I was polishing up one of the stones, I nicked the edge and completely tore, in a nice clean tear line, yeah, completely tore the disc. Luckily these aren't too expensive, about $1 a piece, so not too bad. But I think it was just like way too slanted, and it might have just been catching. Put a new 400 on there. Here's an example of one of the pieces so far. You can see it's already got a little bit of a shine and a mirror finish on it. I mean, this is my first time doing this, so I'm not no professional. People might look at that and be like, wow, it's all messed up. But yeah, this is the trial run here, and I'd say so far so good. This is day number 2 of playing around with my Richardson Ranch high-speed sander. Today is a really windy day, and we got a lot of storm clouds rolling through, so I decided to put up a gazebo here around my workstation because I don't want my dry sander to get wet. First things first, I rewatched some of the video that I took of me using it the first time. Went home, had about 3 or 4 days in between, and watched a lot of videos of how other people polish their materials. I noticed that there is some slight differences in techniques I could adjust to get a better polish on my pieces. For example, if you look in the video here, when I hit the sander, I'm hitting it with the edge of the sanding pad and not really putting the full stone underneath the piece. And what that's resulting in is leaving this ripple effect. There we go, maybe you can see it there. It's leaving this ripple effect because I think I'm hitting it a section at a time and I'm rotating the stone going through it, and it's leaving like an inconsistent face on the piece itself. We're gonna start with the 600 again, and yeah, we're gonna try to nicely face the stones. It might not be a big deal, and we'll see the results at the end. We did the second pass with 600 grit disc or pad on these rocks, and yeah, definitely some of the stones had a little bit of that ripple effect going on I was mentioning earlier, but after doing the one solid pass through the piece, it cleared it up really well. However, this piece here that we were looking at earlier, although it did take out a lot of those ripples and divots, like right here, you could still see that it didn't take it out with the 600. So what I'm gonna do is probably put these pieces aside and start working them down with, you know, back down at the 100 grit or something to kind of clear this up, because I went over this a few times, and I think what's happening here is as I was hitting the stone previously, I would have too much of an angle, like so, and the edge of the disc would be cutting in and gouging, and because I was hitting it more of an angle, it was giving an ununiform type of surface. So these are nice pieces, so we're learning, we're practicing here. I think I'm going to take these back down to about the 100 or the 60, and yeah, that's a good learning curve, learning experience right there. Just got done with the first pass of the 800 grit wheel or disc. Sorry about the noise. I got my slab saw back there, pretty much running 24/7 as I work on everything else. Let's take a look at some of these pieces. So this piece here, see, it's got nice reflective shine, and what I'm pretty much looking for is any spots that just have like dips or divots. I'd say this piece is looking pretty good. Here's the other half of that guy, and like just need to get it in the glare. The glare kind of reveals. You can still see the sanding marks, but that's fine. This is the 800. We're gonna take it down to 1,000 or up to 1,000. This piece looks pretty good too. So we got this piece here. You can see like right up here, there's like a little divot or something. But all in all, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna go through, look at all these pieces and see which ones I think need to be hit again. So these are the ones that we are going to hit with the 800 grit pad one more time. They have a little bit of unevenness to the surface, and I mean, some of them might not even get much better, and that's because probably on the earlier stages I kind of made some mistakes. And honestly, if they, at the very end after the cerium oxide, if they don't look good, it's okay, just redo them and start them again. Just get the practice. Like I said in the very beginning of this video, this is all about practice and getting to learn the machine. Well, I think I finally have got the feeling for how to use this machine. I made some pretty good progress where I found out that my previous stages I probably did not take enough time and I wasn't holding the stone flat enough. This caused a lot of high centers, and yeah, it was kind of a bit of work to repair all of these stones, but I went back through every single piece with the 800 a couple more times, and now I have nice clean surfaces. I noticed that I was probably putting way too much pressure before, and this was causing inconsistencies in the cut. So I just I bring the stone up to the wheel and just kind of let it do its thing nice and lightly. I think I'm all finished with the 800. Now I'm gonna swap over to the 1,000. Well, alrighty, just finished up with the 1,000 grit pad, and these pieces are done with the high-speed sander. Take a look at some of these. See, they've got a nice glossy finish. These are far from perfect because, you know, this was my trial run, my experiment. Some of this more porous stuff has a lot of debris and dust and all sorts of stuff trapped inside. But some of these came out really, really nice. Just kind of see that, how nice and glossy that is. But you can see, even so, there's still a little bit of scratching. But that's okay. It was a trial run, an experimental run. Surprisingly, the bigger ones took a much better polish. Look at this. You definitely did not have that much detail first time around before the polish. These came out pretty good. This one I think came out as one of the best. Nice solid piece. That one is just a little bit too porous. So what is the next step? Done sanding for now, done polishing for today. What I am going to do though is grab the spot cleaning gun and clean out all the crystals and everything on these pieces, and should look a little bit better. Let's get it.